All right, I'm back for now. I'm not going to probably make a ton of videos. I have no idea. I don't know where this is going to go. I really don't. But I wanted to make a video. I kind of wanted to give an update of what's been going on with me, where I've been, how I've been doing, a couple other things. I know there is a number of you that like hearing from me, so hopefully you'll see this video. I have had to get rid of a number of haters who have been still hating on the Emma uh, conversation that I had with her. I haven't heard from her since that day. I wanted to give kind of a synopsis of what's been going on this last, I feel like 2 months since I made a video, maybe 3. I haven't really missed it, but I did want to give an update. This might help somebody out there. I don't know. So I've been making my own bread. I've got 2 different mixers over here. Not mixers, 2 different grain mills over here and a mixer. I guess I can try and, yeah, there they are. And I have been making my own bread. I've even been making bread for other people. I've been shipping bread to other people. It's wonderful bread. It's got every nutrient. It's got 40 of the 44 nutrients that we need to survive to manufacture life. It's been wonderful. And so when I first started making it was probably, I did make some lives talking kind of in the rudimentary stages of the idea of making bread. I was originally grinding mill in the Vitamix. It was too inconsistent. So I bought a hand crank grain mill, and I'm just going to give an overall synopsis of everything. And so, and I was doing that for a little while. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to like making bread. So I walked over to a thrift store, not too far from here, and they had a bread maker. So I was using this hand crank, and I was just using the bread maker, and it was making bread for me. And I'm like, I kind of want to just do my, like get a mixer and everything like that. So that is what you see over here. By the time I got to this stage over here, I was kind of living off of bread, and it was wonderful. I was having 6 slices in the morning and I did add eggs, beef, and butter back into my diet. The beef is giving me severe anger issues, and I'll talk about that in a little while. So I decided to get some 12-inch baking pans, and I've been making my own bread, and I've been shipping my own bread to different people, and they love it. And I was having 6 slices in the morning with 3 eggs. They're about half-inch slices. That was holding me till like dinner, when I would have then like another 4 slices I was just basically making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That was it. Sometimes I was actually just doing just bread with jelly on it. And that was it for the day. That was somewhat great for a little while. And then I started having, I started getting hungry. I was having just sleep issues. I wasn't exercising a whole lot at the time because I realized that I really needed to back off the exercise because I wasn't recovering from it. And we went through that. And then I'm like, something ain't right. So I calculated out and this went on for about a month, 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. And and it was nice too, because I was still going to the beach at the time. I was getting my tan. I was at the beach for like 5 hours a day. So it was working out great. I didn't have to bring anything to the beach with me. I had this schedule where I would drink water, and then I would cut it off half an hour before I ate. And then I would wait another 1.5-ish hours, and then I would have water, and I would get real hydrated, and then I would eat again. And then that left the rest of the night for me to hydrate and then go to bed and then start to cycle over again. But then I calculated out the calorie count on the bread, and it was 135.2 calories per slice if it was about a half an inch slice. So I was only eating about 1,352 calories worth of bread, and then whatever the eggs, and so it was staying usually in the 1,700, because I don't like peanut butter, so it's like this, it's a hint of peanut butter on bread with me. I'm not like the biggest fan. So the calorie count ended up being around 1,700, between 1,500 and 1,800 calories, depending on what I had for the day. And I wasn't losing any weight. I wasn't really recovering. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. The bread tasted great. It was filling me up. I added in like a meal in the middle of the day because my goal was to have like the 4 slices of bread before, like 2 hours before I go to bed. I didn't want to keep having these huge meals before I go to bed. I started making sure that I had like a lunch/breakfast that was a lot of calories, like 1,000, 1,500 calories or something like that. And that is when I started seeing weight coming off. I mean, just really, I think I lost about 20-ish, 25 pounds. I didn't document any of this because I really wanted to get myself down to a normal weight so I could just come on here and talk to you guys about everything great about everything. So I didn't really document a whole lot of it. But at that same time, I started adding in a lot of exercise again. So I unfortunately broke the mat or tore the mat on my Cellerciser doing the only exercise he tells you not to do, which is jumping jacks. And I kept landing on the strip where everything's sewn together, and I tore it with my heel. So now I'm waiting for another Cellerciser because I'm going to sell the old one. I'm trying to get rid of anything that had any kind of contact with my past. Otherwise, I would have just fixed it, which is normally what I used to do. So anyway, I got the new Cellerciser coming. But anyway, so I was doing jumping. I initially started doing jumping for like 10 minutes. And then it was 15 minutes. And then it was 30 minutes. And then it's 45 minutes. And then it's going for 2-hour walks or long, crazy, hardcore bike rides around the park. There's a fairly big ring around the park, somewhat close to me. And the weight just started stockpiling back on. And I'm like, how is this possible? So that 20 to 25 pounds that I lost while I was just walking to the park and sitting at the park. Or I would just go to the library and just like read a book, or I would just go somewhere and talk to somebody. I wasn't trying to walk like 20,000 steps a day. I'll say that. I was trying to do as minimal as possible because it always feels like my body is just like struggling to recover. So I'm like, all right, I'll give you time to recover. But then I started eating this extra during, I don't know, my 4 to 6 o'clock meal. And initially I kept that same schedule, and then I was losing weight crazy, and I started really feeling good, and I started exercising again, and then the weight just, it's like my body. So anyway, I'm going to talk about that more. So I couldn't figure this out at all. It was driving me crazy. I'm like, how is this possible? And then all of a sudden on my YouTube feed comes this woman, Doc Talks Detox. I think is her name or channel name. Her name, I think, is Caitlin. And then because I watched one of her videos, there was another guy that came on. It was called Stop Chasing Pain. And I'm watching these guys, and I'm doing like manual lymph drainage afterwards. And this leads into another rabbit hole that the liver produces most of your lymphatic fluid. And I could tell that I had some stuck lymph nodes and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I have one right here that's even a cyst or it's like clogged. I'm like, you know what? I think this is so backed up that I probably should go find somebody. So I started looking around New York, and most of the lymph drainage places only will see you after surgery for whatever reason. But I did find a woman in Midtown that just does lymphatic drainage. So I scheduled with her, and I go and I kind of tell her my entire history, and then she starts working on me. She's like, yeah, you are pretty, I could feel it. Like when she was moving stuff around in me, like I could feel it, and some of it was dumping into my neck or my throat. She's like, you are really backed up. And she gave me some exercises. And then as she's having me kind of bend forward and trying to see what, where my body is and everything like that. And she's like, you have a very weird. She's like, so if this is your spine right here, your rib cage is kind of supposed to sit. I can't really do this. I should have brought up a diagram, kind of like this, but mine was out like this, and because of that, my diaphragm was fully extended and couldn't actually function. And it wasn't, and because of that, my rib cage wasn't over my liver and my spleen and all that kind of stuff like it's supposed to be. So since I saw her, which was about a month ago, because I'm actually seeing her tomorrow, I think it's been almost an exact month since I've seen her the first time. This has been the most challenging thing that I've been through as of yet, is trying to figure out, because she put me in a position that I'm supposed to be walking in. She's like, you're going to feel like you're falling over, but this is the position that you're supposed to be in. And here's where the new advice of shoulders back and all that people are giving people is really dangerous, because I tried to do that. Now, a lot of mine was because I was in so much pain, my body tenses up real bad, and I kind of do this when I'm walking. So I've deducted over this that one of the issues that I have been through, and maybe because a lot of fat people that I see have the posture that I had. And I'm wondering if a lot of our rib cages are, extended out, where they're supposed to be flat like this. They're kind of extended out, and they're not allowing things to do what they're supposed to do. I want to say that after I discovered this, I lost 35 pounds in a day, and it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened because I've realized that what happens, and I don't know how to undo this, and I think we're going to be talking about this tomorrow while she's doing the lymphatic drainage. She didn't even make it. I had so much backed up that she didn't even make it really past my belly button. And I know somebody's not lying when I can feel it. When she's doing that stuff, I can feel it, and it tastes like metal. And she's like, well, it shouldn't taste like metal, but it does. It's probably been sitting there a while. And, I know potassium can also taste like metal. So, the potato life could be causing some of that. And then I start looking into it more. I had bilirubin. I had to be incubated for the first 2 months after I was popped out into this world because I had bilirubin, which I guess is a liver thing. So I probably had a liver issue my entire life. Now, if you've watched my channel for a long time, some of this you've heard me say, and I didn't know what was causing it, and maybe I do now. So if your liver is struggling, your stomach is going to overproduce acid, but it's eventually going to get weak and not be able to do that, which is going to cause acid reflux. It's going to cause the body to not be able to digest food correctly, and it's going to go through the system, not completely digested, which is also going to screw up the small intestine, and then that's going to screw up the large intestine, the colon. It is a massive, just like if one thing is off, you're pretty screwed. So if your stomach and your liver is off, your lymphatic's not going to work, and your gut's not going to work, because they're all connected. Like the majority of your lymphatic drainage things are in your gut. The cistern and chyli is the largest one, and it is very deep. You can look that up. And I also didn't breathe right. I didn't breathe because of this. My lower abdomen has basically been on vacation since I was born. So it's a whole lot of things. And then I just found out 3 or 4 days ago that the main ligament for your liver is attached basically at your belly button. So if you're not breathing correctly, your liver's not going to work the way it's supposed to. And on top of that, if you watch some of my old videos, you'll see that I tried to have that, shoulders back position. I think what's happened, and again, I haven't figured out how to undo this, I think what happened when I added all that food back in, I mean, I was eating pretty big lunches, is my body started to finally relax. I wasn't beating it to death. I was finally feeding it. It's like, all right, maybe we're safe. And then I added in a bunch of exercise, which, keep in mind, I have a pretty banged up body from years of lifting, from years of having a dislocating left ankle, from years of a messed up knee. My body, as it's walking, tenses up really bad because it automatically, even if it's not in pain, it assumes it's going to be in pain. So I have to, literally every step I take, I have to tell my body, you're not in pain. This is all right. We're going to be fine. I have to remember to breathe. I have to remember to have my rib cage down, because as soon as my body thinks that it's in danger, it does this. It anteriorly tilts my pelvis, which forces my spine to go in the wrong position, and then that opens the rib cage gate, and I can't breathe correctly. Sometimes at all. This could be the answer to this whole thing. I don't know. Will this have me at 225 by the end of this year? I have no idea. I think I've found out what's causing all of this, what has caused all of this my entire life. Because the stomach acid isn't between a 1 and a 3 like it's supposed to be, because they tested it. It's like a 4 or more, like 5. It allowed other pathogens to come into this body of mine. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. And I can't be the only one going through this. So another symptom of lymphatic system being backed up, and I'm actually going to probably make more videos about this, is you cannot lose weight no matter what you do. Because one of the things that I get in the comment section all the time, and I know is wrong because I've seen that it's wrong because it doesn't work, is to starve yourself. Well, that puts my body in even more stress, and it starts freaking out even more. And so it starts stockpiling anything that I possibly eat. And I can see it happening. And that's why and it wasn't that first day. When I added back in, it was the last week of August into September. Because I decided I was going to go out to my parents' house for Labor Day weekend, and I was just eating whatever the hell I wanted to, and I started losing weight that week, and I continued that, a healthier version of that, when I got back, and I still started having weight coming off. And one of the things that I noticed when I was at my parents' house, because I have my a card that I can use, and I don't do as much when I'm there, as my body starts relaxing and it starts losing weight. And then as soon as I come, even before I moved to New York, when I would live by myself or when I lived with other people, I was always exercising. Part of the reason was because I wanted to get out of the house because I couldn't stand the people I lived with. And part of the reason was that I still, to this day, have that over-exercise yourself, eat less mentality. And I know that it doesn't work because I'm proof that it doesn't work. Now, I know there's people out there that are like, work for me. I eat 3 pieces of lettuce a day now. Cool. Congratulations. I realize there's that subset out there that just brags about how little they eat and, whatever. Congratulations, I guess. But it doesn't work for me. And it doesn't work for a lot of people. And I've interviewed a lot of people that it doesn't work for. We're not all making it up. We're not all snacking on Cheetos and whatever Cheese Whiz in the back corner. I think the last video I made, I was talking about mold exposure. So I might have actually made a video after I got back here. I don't remember. This has been a kind of a whirlwind. Because it's all of this stuff that I wish I would have found out 20 years ago, I've kind of found out in the last 2 months. Maybe, when the student is ready, the teacher finally appears. Maybe the teacher has appeared before me and the student wasn't ready to hear it. I don't know. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. I think I'm 278. 275, something like that. I want to see what she says tomorrow because I got to talk to her about this because my body, I can sense it. As soon as I go for a walk, it starts freaking out. It's like you're going to be in pain. It stops breathing. That's another thing that I had noticed. I stop breathing all the time. I've probably done it while making this video. And they say that people have been exposed to mold kind of do that because your body doesn't want to breathe because it doesn't want any more toxins in the lungs or out of the lungs. I don't know. And I think a lot of us that do this yo-yo, that you have some kind of version of what I'm going through right now. And everybody's going to be like, he's making excuses or whatever. All I know is when I wasn't exercising a lot and I started adding in a fair bit more calories, my weight starts coming off. But as soon as I start dumping in all the extra exercise, and it seems to me that it puts the body in a new cycle that is really hard to get out of. Because once I realized that I was doing it again and I stopped doing it, it doesn't just put the brakes and it doesn't just start losing weight again. I don't know how long it takes for the body to start saying, oh, he's not being an idiot anymore. I don't know how long that takes. This is what we're working with right now. I have every symptom of a sluggish or clogged lymphatic system, which I'll probably make videos about so some people can see, maybe you're going through that as well. It has and been enlightening, but at the same time, I don't 100% know what to do about it. Like I'm trying to walk with my rib cage in the spot that it's supposed to be in. I have to remember to breathe when I'm walking. I have to remember to walk correctly, and I have to remember to try to tell my body that it's not in danger every single step that I take. Not everybody watching this video had a dislocating ankle that caused a lot of problems and had bilirubin when they were a kid. So I'm especially up against it more so than other people, and I don't want that. I would love to be like my sister, who as soon as she sees she's gaining a little extra weight, she just goes for like a walk and it just gone. That sounds like a life to me, but this is where we're at. I have other people in my family actually that go through the exact same thing that I do. And none of us have figured out how to get the weight off. I'm the only one that still does. Most of them just like, screw it. And they just, it's like they're on a new goal of seeing how fat they can get, which I don't want to do. Just to summarize, because I think this video is long enough. Somehow I got stuck in a loop of I think it started with my liver. Like, it's always the chicken who came first, or who came first, the chicken or the egg. I think my liver is the start of this whole thing. Because when the liver's off, it starts freaking out and starts making more lymphatic fluid, from what I've read, than it needs. And then it backs up the lymphatic fluid. And then if you don't move correctly and you've got this weird posture, like I used to have, and your rib cage is up, and that starts freaking out the body. And your diaphragm is what really pumps the sternochyli, which is by far the largest lymph node in your body. So if it's not moving anything, because here's another thing. When I used to go for walks or ride bike or even on the trampoline, afterwards I would have this ring of water weight underneath, like at the bottom here of my torso. I lie to you not. There has been times where I went out for walks and I didn't have anything. I didn't have water. I had nothing with me. I weighed more after the walk. I don't know how this is possible than I did before the walk. This is something, and I've told doctors this, and none of them called me a liar because it's like they've seen it before. And I think it might have something to do with the fact that extended out rib cage, not breathing correctly, diaphragm doesn't work because it can't. And then because of that, the cisterna chyli isn't working. And then all of the lymphatic fluid that you should be draining while you're going for a walk is getting denied. And then it's got nowhere to go, so it dumps it out into the tissues. That's my guess. Oh, another thing. I'm so glad that I said that. I really hope everybody made it this far. I really do. Another thing, and I'm going to talk about this more because this discovery made a lot of the videos that I've made and I've seen total bullshit. I didn't realize this. Your lymphatic system moves the fat, your dietary fat. So if it's clogged, it dumps that dietary fat where it has the most lymph accumulation, which is your gut. Or maybe in women, maybe it's lower. I don't know, because most of them seem to dump it in their butt region, which it looks so much better than the gut. Which makes the RANDLE cycle. Because I had seen a doctor. What was her name? Kathy something. She's Irish, and she was told about this whole idea of the RANDLE cycle, and she said that's total bullshit. That doesn't make any sense at all. And now that I heard that your body moves the dietary fat with your lymphatic system, that makes the RANDLE cycle even more stupid. It's not a thing. It's a lie. If I had learned everything that I've learned in this last 2 months or 2.5 months, 20 years ago, the amount of people, myself included, that I could have helped is astronomical. The lies that we are told are just so insane. It's not even funny. So once I found that out, and it makes a lot of sense now. Like after I would go for a walk, or like the 10-minute bounce on the trampoline usually was fine, but once I started, coming into the 20, 25, 30-minute, again, I would look in the mirror. I'm like, you're fatter than you were when you first got on the damn thing. How is that possible? And I think it's because the breathing wasn't right, and your diaphragm is largely what moves the abdomen, the lymph nodes in your abdomen. So here we are. The last thing I'm going to say, because I almost forgot. Here's this jar. It had celery juice in it. Now, I had always heard celery juice helps your liver. I had never been told the exact reason or the exact way to do it. And so, again, I feel like I prayed to God a while ago, and he's just, when I need it, like videos about this stuff will pop into my YouTube feed. And so I found this woman who's talking about you have to do the celery juice as soon as you wake up. Don't drink water before or after. Don't drink water within an hour of it. Don't put anything else in the juice, just celery. And that will start cooling off your liver, and it will start allowing it to start healing itself. And I tell you, it has been amazing. I've been doing it 2 weeks now. I'm going to see how we are after a month. That it's just, again, had I learned all of this stuff that I've learned in this last 2 months, and maybe it's a good thing that I came off making videos, because maybe I wouldn't have seen this stuff otherwise. I don't know. If you're watching this video and you've got weight on you and you can't get it off no matter what the hell you do, chances are it's possible that you've got something like this going on too. Maybe not to the extent as some of the others, of us. I don't know. But this is where we're at. And this is where we're going to be until I can finally convince my body that there's no tiger or lion in the room, so to speak, like the fight or flight. Because of all this, my body is the sympathetic switch is always on. Gosh, there's so much that I could talk about in this video. I'm going to talk about the parasympathetic, sympathetic in another video, because this video already has so much in it. And people's attention span, with TikTok and all that kind of is like 3 minutes. So I've probably lost a lot of you. And honestly, had I not lost a fair bit of weight after I started dumping in the calories, I don't even venture to guess. I would not be surprised at all if my lunches were like 2,000 calories. And that is when the weight just started really coming off. And I was getting excited. I was going to start making videos talking about this stuff. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because as soon as I started adding in the exercise, everything happened again. And I've seen this time and time and time again. Every time I start exercising, especially when I used to lift, I could not get weight off me for anything. I also want to talk about vitamin D, magnesium, and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to do that all in this video. I'm probably going to do more about the lymphatic system, the parasympathetic, the sympathetic systems, largely because I haven't quite figured it out yet either. This is stuff that I've heard of, and I knew that jumping on a trampoline was supposed to help your lymphatic system. But as it's been explained to me, if you have a clogged lymphatic system, jumping on a trampoline or any real exercise is going to make it worse, because it still has nowhere for it to go. You have to manually get in there and start clearing these sites out. Hopefully this helps somebody, like give enlightenment to somebody over this whole thing. It does make sense, because when I review my previous self, I can always feel the almost scared child in my body, like, taking me for a walk. I know it's going to cause a lot of pain, and it starts freaking out. And as soon as I start freaking out, I stop breathing. And I mean, I think it was yesterday. I was sitting there. I was talking to my mom and dad, and my mom's freaking out about something. And I realized that I hadn't breathed in like a minute or two. I just sat there not breathing. So getting that under wraps is project number one. Anyway. All right, I'm going to end it here. Anyway, talk in the next video again. Help me out. And I even think I'm going to start putting a donation thing on my PayPal, because these videos do take a lot of my time. And I think I've helped a few people. So if I have, and I did put a donation thing somewhere down there, consider it. Anyway, talk to you in the next one. Peace.